Okay, let's be honest. Sometimes painting on sneakers can be really difficult, especially when you're trying to do details over all of these different edges on a shoe like an Air Force 1 or a Jordan 1, where it honestly feels like you're trying to paint on a canvas that's got a whole bunch of steps. You got a whole lot of steps to climb to paint this painting. And just like with steps, it feels like an uphill battle. So you're obviously wondering, is it possible to remove the Nike Swoosh, Addidas Slash, or Puma, I don't know what you're doing here Puma, but the Puma thing. Just like you, when I first considered removing the swoosh or the Addidas stripes from a pair of shoes, I was terrified that I was going to ruin my client's shoes and cost me a whole bunch of money to go and replace the shoes before starting the project again. And the good news is I'm here to teach you the step-by-step process to make sure you have absolutely nothing to fear. And the great news is that I've never had even the slightest problem with doing this. So first things first, no matter which type of accent you're removing, the first thing you need is a very sharp X-Acto knife, or what I would like to call a craft knife.
Let's start!
So there are a couple of different ways to go about this, but my favorite and I believe the most convenient way to do it is to individually cut the stitches on the top of the swoosh or the stripe or whatever it is. Then with a shoe like an Air Force 1 or a Jordan 1, you can gently pull the edge of the swoosh up and you'll see all of the different threads exposed underneath. Now you can do one of two things. You can either continue cutting the stitches on the top of the swoosh, or you can pull back the swoosh and create a little bit of tension on those threads and slice little bit by little bit as you go, and eventually you will have the whole swoosh taken away. I suppose this is a little bit of a tricky part, but towards the heel tab, as close as you can get without cutting the white surface of the shoe, you're going to want to go over the exact same spot again and again and again with your X-Acto knife to cut right through that leather swoosh. Once you've done that, you will have completely removed the leather swoosh from your work.
Wow!
Now if you're working on Addidas stripes, it can take a little bit longer because there are so many of them. The same process can be applied, rinse and repeat, except instead of cutting through the leather at the heel tab, you'll be cutting through the leather at the laces tab and just before the rubber outer sole. The exact same thing is true with the Puma, whatever it is, swap line blob thing, except in some cases you're going to need to go through row after row after row of stitches. So you might want to keep this in mind when you're choosing a sneaker for a particular artwork. So at this point you should have your swoosh, your stripe, or your Puma whatever completely removed, and what you'll have left are a whole lot of frayed stitches sticking out of holes in the shoe. I like to grab a pair of tweezers and gently pluck at these bit by bit. This does take quite a long time, and I almost guarantee that after doing it on both shoes, your hand is going to be a little bit sore. If you find that some of these threads are not coming out, something that I like to do is create some tension on the thread with a pair of tweezers, and then take my X-Acto knife and cut as close to the base of that thread as possible. And then, using a toothpick or the tip of the knife, carefully put the rest of that thread back through the hole, just so that it isn't a problem later on. This is kind of like sweeping dirt under the rug, but when there is paint on the shoe, it really doesn't matter. Now, somewhere out there is a genius who managed to do this process by just pulling on one of these threads and all of them coming through. For the life of me, I haven't been able to figure it out yet, logically or experientially, but for now, this is a pretty good technique to get rid of the swoosh, the stripe, or the Puma whatever, in order to give yourself a much more even surface to paint on. So there are a couple of reasons why you might want to, and I have many times wanted to remove the swoosh, the stripe, or the Puma thing. And it's particularly helpful when you are doing logos, text, and most importantly, portraits or characters over that space. Unfortunately, try as you might, if you're painting a character over one of these edges, it's not going to come out as clean as it could be. Now, just a quick caveat. Please make sure that you are asking permission from whoever you are doing this custom for to remove the swoosh or the stripe or the Puma whatever. Occasionally, people specifically choose these shoes like the Air Force 1, the Stan Smith, and the Puma whatevers, specifically because of the brand that they embody. And if you are removing a key element of that brand, they may not be super happy. Many a times I've suggested to a client, hey, I'm going to be able to do a much cleaner job if I remove the swoosh. Can I have your permission? And they've said, no, I'd much rather you keep the swoosh on let's see how they come out, and we do what we can. I highly recommend removing the swoosh, the stripe, or the whatever before you do your general surface preparation for customization. If you want to learn more about the ins and outs and probably a way over explanation of everything you need to know about preparing a sneaker for customization, click this video that's appearing on the top right corner and I'll guide you through the ins and outs of why you need to do certain types of preparation and which are most important.
Wow!
I'm really happy that I was able to share this process with you guys. It really goes a long way to making your work look clean and professional when the actual artwork demands it. If you have a look on the screen right now, I'm showing you some of my favorite pieces that I've done after removing the swoosh, the stripe, or the Puma or whatever. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please drop it a like. If you found it helpful, please let me know in the comments below. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a lot of art and sneaker related content coming your way. And you should probably check out one of these awesome cool videos that are appearing on the screen right now. Until next time, see ya.